we're gonna do some check-ins because the exercises we're doing tonight are not as long. So we'll probably have, like half the time for some checking in. But I want to, there's a meditation that I find really helpful for working on stuff. So I want to start with that one. And both of these are from Amber, and she said it would be okay to do them with you guys. So the first one is called a 0-point focus meditation. And then the second one is, it's called Epogenetics. And so there's a video from one of her courses explains epigenetics and then takes you through the process. And so it's about, that video is about 15 minutes. The first one's about 7 minutes. And so we're going to do both, and we're going to do them back to back. So I wanted to know if everybody had a chance to see my message about picking something to work on in the epigenetics video. And that would be something, and this came as a quote from the video. So I just took it out of there. A belief system, a pattern, a habit, a way of being that is no longer serving you. And it could be related to the thing that you're wanting and trying to move forward on that's not working, that for whatever reason hasn't materialized yet. Or if something else came through as stronger, that would be the thing to work on. So did everybody see that? Did everybody pick something? Because I found when I did this video the first time, when I was asked to pick something in the middle of the video, that it was like I wasn't prepared.
You're freezing.
Oh. Is it okay now?
Oh, it says my internet connection is unstable.
Okay. Because there is a storm again. It's the rainy season. I did get an external storage though. So if the power goes out, I'll still be able to get on my phone, because the phone won't die. Because the issue has been not just the internet, but the power. So having enough power, because the phone service has not gone out. So because I have my AT&T from the States. So I've had phone service, but when the power goes out and then hours go by and you don't have the phone. So now I think I've got it resolved, but there is a storm here too. So in the middle of the video, it's going to say to pick something. But the first time I did this video, I wasn't prepared, and so I picked something, but I didn't feel, I wish that I had known ahead that I was going to need to pick something. So that's why I sent that to you guys earlier, so that you would have something that felt strong for you to work on. And what I will say about this, and we'll have to wait and see how you guys feel in a matter of weeks or a month or something. But I've worked with the epigenetics twice so far, and both of the things that I worked on shifted, and where I can in my everyday life, there's like one was a habit, and that habit is gone now, and one was not even habit related. So I'll just tell you what my two were. So the first one was, and it was the one that kind of took me off guard, and I wasn't really thinking, but and there's a mention of it in the video. So it was for weight loss. And even though I've been sedentary, and I did that before I even went to Costa Rica, even though I've been sedentary, I'm like, I want to say 2 or 3 sizes down, but like hey Leah, a significant, and I don't have a scale, so I don't know about weight, but I know about size. And so it's probably 2, let's say 2 sizes smaller. And I have been sedentary for the last like 8 weeks. It'll be 8 weeks I guess 7 weeks. It'll be 8 weeks on Tuesday. And then the other one was what was the other one? Oh my goodness, I just blanked on it. It'll come back to me. So to me, and I had never heard of this before, and I never done it before, but I saw a shift in both instances of where like there was oh, I know what the other one was. So I would say probably off and on for maybe the last 3 years, I wanted to completely stop drinking alcohol. And I don't drink a lot, but I sometimes do. And particularly if I have a challenging situation. And so I wanted that to disassociate like being upset and drinking. And I would say that, it's like, and not a every day, every week kind of thing, but I didn't like the connection between those two things. And my mother's an alcoholic too. So there's that, not liking that piece in there at all. And so that was the second thing that I worked on. And from that time, and I've had a few upsetting things happen between now and then, and I haven't had any alcohol at all. So I don't know, again, I don't know. I'm not advocating for it, but I did it twice. And the two things that I've done it on, I can see tangible real world results. So I wanted to share it with you guys. And I asked Amber if that was okay if I went through the video with you, because I was surprised in both instances that both things seem to sort of like have shifted. Does anybody have any questions? So Leah, just to let you know, we're going to do 2 videos. One is for focus that I've been doing every day, actually, and I find it really valuable to help me when I'm going to work on something, to first do this. It's called 0-point focus meditation. Find that it's very helpful for bringing me, into the present and really being able to dedicate myself to something. And then the second one is it's on a process called epigenetics, and it's a video of Amber's, and she explains what it is in the video and then takes you through the process. And I asked you to pick something to work on so that you weren't like taken off guard in the middle of the video when she tells you to pick something, because it's about rewiring your brain in the meditation. And so you're gonna rewire your brain in the meditation. Anybody have any questions?
I do. I have like 3 interrelated beliefs.
Okay.
Should I use them all?
What are
So
they? No,
I'm a night person. I'm
Yeah.
not a morning person, and my circadian rhythm is all out of whack and not easily set. Does what it wants.
What about the belief I'm a person that doesn't, or something more about I don't know I don't want to say you can't, because I don't believe that, but maybe you do. Do you believe that you can't go to sleep at an early hour?
I believe I can go to sleep earlier than I do. I mean, so much of it. I mean, I can also tie it back to my living situation. Like, the late night hours are mine, whereas the rest of my evening is still taking care of Dad, or being aware of him, or having him in my space.
Right.
But I mean, but that's also, I'm lying, because this is not just since I've lived.
Right.
This is since I've gone to college. All right. I think that's, yeah. I mean, I prefer
Jo-
to stay up late.
Joy, do you feel it's a problem in your life?
Yes, I'm tired.
Because it's
Yeah,
Well, and I think that the piece too of like um the 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 impact, like just I think there's the and you're totally doing it. You're totally changing the dynamic within your own self and your own relationship with sleep. But it's still it feels harder to me than it could be. And so I think that maybe we should go habit instead of belief. I have a habit of staying up later than I would like to in order to get enough sleep,
yeah, that's very true.
because you can pick a habit, a pattern. So maybe what you're going to replace is a habit of staying up
Mhm.
later than you should in order to get enough sleep.
Yeah, I can do that. That's
That
all of that's true.
Yeah, then it's more habit based. I think that might work better for you.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
because you do
I knew
need
I knew
one.
you'd help. Yeah,
Yeah,
I knew you'd help me figure it out.
sure. And you do need one because you're gonna pull it out and put in something new. So you want to be able to. So maybe that's something too. Um, maybe we should brainstorm the um the new one too, because you're going to pull that out and you're going to replace it. So it might be helpful to come up with the replacement belief as well, or the replacement habit as well. So like Joy, you may want to replace it at it. You may even want to pick another earlier time to replace that with, or replace it with a habit of going to bed with enough time to get enough sleep, so that it's not tied to a time, but tied to like, and you decide what that is, going to bed with enough time to get X number of hours of sleep, because then that might change on a weekend versus a weekday. But that may be
Mhm.
to replace it with a habit of going to bed with enough time to get X number of hours of sleep. So maybe take a moment and create a replacement habit, pattern, belief for yourself, so that when you need to have that, you'll already have it. And it's okay to if you need to look at it when you're in the meditation, it's okay to do that. If you can hold both in your mind and not need to look at it, that's good too. But if you need to make sure that you're getting the right thing, then that's okay too. So come up with a replacement belief system, pattern, habit, or way of being that will serve you. Does that make sense? Because when you take the one out, you're going to need to put something else in. So first I'm going to share my screen and we're going to do the focus one first. And then we're just going to go straight into the second one on epigenetics.
Welcome to the 0-point focus meditation. If you're watching this on a desktop or mobile phone, go ahead and just make the screen bigger. And you might want to put some headphones on as well. That tends to make the experience much better. Then just go ahead and listen to the sound of my voice. And as you listen to the sound of my voice, focus on the dot in the center of the screen. And allow yourself to go into a 0-point focus. As you listen to the sound of my voice, you will notice a sense of connection. And you may notice some thoughts coming into your mind, and that's okay. Just let those thoughts be there, but put them off to the side for now and continue to focus on the dot that's in the center of the screen. As you focus, become aware of the silence inside of the room. And as you focus, become aware of the space between you and the screen. As you focus, become aware of the space in the room. And as you focus, become aware of the space between your ears. As you continue to focus on the dot, I'm going to remove the dot, but it will stay there because your focus will stay there and increase throughout the rest of this meditation. You may notice a cloud or a fog slowly coming into the room. And that's your connection to the field of infinite potential. Just continue to focus on the space of nothingness where the dot was. And notice this nothingness. As you become very peaceful, very light, and even more focused. As you focus, your connection becomes deeper with yourself and with the quantum field of infinite potential. As you focus, your ability to create and have an impact becomes stronger. And as you focus, your connection becomes deeper. As you focus, the resistance becomes smaller. As you focus, the resistance becomes nothing. And as you focus, the process becomes everything. As you focus, the result becomes nothing. And as you focus, the process becomes everything. You may notice a complete sense of peace, harmony, and power as your connection becomes deeper. You have now fully recharged your body, your mind, and your energy. You can now focus at your highest potential. Know that everything is flowing exactly as it is, in divine flow with the universe. Go ahead and take a nice deep breath in and out. And know that you are fully recharged and ready to take on the day. Knowing that you are in a state to have the most impact and create with the universe in divine flow. All right, amazing job. Go ahead now and close your eyes for about 10 seconds. And as your eyes are closed, go ahead and feel your energy building. Feel your vision coming into focus and fully embody your infinite potential. Now, go ahead and open your eyes, stand up, shake it off, and know that you are now in a state of 0 point focus. Fully charged, full of energy, and connected to the field more powerfully than ever before. All right, we're back for our short video on epigenetics. And towards the end of this, I am going to walk you through a very short meditation. So I just want you to be prepared for that. I want to give you the tips and tricks that I use to completely change my life, and the first tools I give to clients, because this can be done within a minute or two every single day. So, but before that, I really want to dive into explaining epigenetics to you. So as I pull this slide up. All right, epigenetics, secrets to the life you desire most. I like to explain epigenetics by first stating that the old belief that our health is controlled by genetics alone is a very outdated belief. We have plenty of scientific proof that gene expression and cell development is directly affected by the environment. This is one of the greatest realizations of our time because it puts us back in the driver's seat of our health and life experience. Epigenetic meditation is the most effective way I have found to harness epigenetics and make change quickly. I combine epigenetic meditation and theta healing in my own practice for profound, rapid, and permanent results. Okay, so in the next video, you're going to learn about theta healing and subconscious reprogramming. But what I would love for you to know is a little different or a lot different about my work is that I started with epigenetics. So I naturally, every time I help a client, find myself diving into epigenetic meditation after theta healing work. I did epigenetic work by itself for a very long time. In fact, I changed my own life tremendously long before I ever started helping other people do this. So this is an incredibly powerful practice. Okay, so this is the idea that we can go in through meditation, not your typical meditation, but epigenetic meditation, and go in through visualization practices and begin to reprogram the brain. I did this in the neural net of my own brain. I do this in a million different ways, channeled in the moment for different clients. It's never the same. But the best thing I can do for you today is give you skills that will serve you every single day and far into the future. So I'm going to pull up a plain slide here so that you can close your eyes and focus. Just going to pull up a slide for us to have as a background while we dive into this work, okay? So I welcome you to get comfortable, find your center. If you're not familiar with the chakras, I'm going to walk you through a short process where you're going to find your root chakra. It is located at the base of your spine and is often depicted in the color red. So I want you to welcome you to draw a line of energy in your mind's eye. Draw a line of energy from your root chakra all the way down into the center of the planet. We call this a grounding cord. And this is used to drain whatever is no longer serving you, thought patterns, physical ailments, physical pains, anything from your mind, body, and soul is going to be allowed to be released down this grounding cord all the way down into the center of the planet. You can envision this like a faucet pouring out energy that you are not consciously wanting to keep in your space in this moment. This grounding cord is typically about the size of a bar stool or a chair, around under your bottom, all the way down into the very center of the planet. As you sit in this moment, just allowing anything to release out of your experience. And forming a golden ball of light above your head and allowing this golden sun-like energy to attract all of your energy from everywhere you've been, from every person that you've interacted with, from past relationships, from yesterday, anything at all. You're going to envision yourself going around and collecting your energy. This is like a magnet for your own personal energy. And once this is full, you're going to allow this to enter through your crown chakra at the top of your head and flow all the way down your body, through your face, through your neck, through your chest and arms, down through your trunk, down through your legs, and out the bottom of your feet. Just filling your space. Oh, pardon me as I yawn. That is simply energy flowing. Allow yourself to fill with your own personal energy. After we're done here, you will have more physical energy to go about your day because you have gone around and energetically recollected your own personal energy. Now, last but not least, I want you to dive out way into the universe. Up and up and up and up and up. Up, 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 up. Up and up and up, out into the universe. And I want you to take a large scoop of untapped, divine, universal energy. And you are going to bring this all the way back down through the universe, back into the clouds, over the home in which you sit, down into right above your space. And you're going to pull this divine energy as well, right down through your crown chakra, just as you did your own personal energy. Choosing a beautiful color that you love for this. Bringing this down through your head and neck, your arms and trunk, down through your legs. And take a nice deep breath, breathing in this universal, incredible, loving, divine energy. And as you do this, I am going to bring myself back so you can peek and see if you'd like. But what we're going to do is we're going to bring this energy that you have just filled yourself with, this divine energy. We're going to pull it up through all of your chakras, out the top of your head, and watch it come out in what looks like a donut, okay? We call this a torus of energy. It is like the Earth's electromagnetic field. Think of it like your own heart's electromagnetic field in this beautiful color that you have chosen. And as I remove myself again, running this donut of energy, right now it's the size of your arms. Making it the size of the room that you sit, the size of your home, the size of your city, your state, your country. And as you rise above the earth, watching as this incredible personal torus of energy takes on the size of the whole entire planet, and just sitting with this and letting it flow. This is an incredible way to protect your energy body. If you do this process every morning before you go about your day, you know that you are that beautiful chosen color walking around, convening with other people as you give them a color. And when you leave their space, you take all of your energy with you and you leave all of theirs with them. Looking down again, you've got that incredible grounding cord. And as we shift gears into a little deeper process here, I want you to go even deeper, allowing all that energy you've just created to keep flowing, but going deep inside your mind. And breathe, looking at the neural net of your mind. This is deep. I want you to follow along. If you're getting lost at all, know that this healing is taking place. You can always revisit this, but let's dive deep. You've totally got this. You can absolutely do this. Looking in the neural net of your brain. So I bring myself back once again. Your nerves are connected, holding hands tightly with everything in your life, your thoughts, your habits, addictions, belief systems, whatever it is, everything that governs your day, your life experience, you have a neural net formed in your brain like this. And in just a moment, I'm going to walk you through the releasing of these belief systems like this, okay? So back to closed eyes as you stick with me, looking in that neural net of your brain. Seeing nerves, holding hands like that, connected strongly. What color do you see these in? And see, there's not only one, there's not only 100, 1,000, 1,000,000, 1,000,000,000, looking at this intense, intricate neural net in your brain. Finding a belief system, a pattern, a habit, a way of being that is no longer serving you. And in your mind's eye, getting ready to loosen this grip and release. But before we do that, we have to have a new neural connections ready and waiting for us in a new color. What are you wanting to bring into your life? If you're releasing weight, what are you bringing in? Strength, muscles. If you're releasing financial stress or debt? What are you bringing in? Money, how much money? And by when? Get specific here. You're releasing a disease process, bringing in health. What are you bringing in? You're releasing a negative habit, an addiction, a pattern. Maybe you're a smoker. Maybe you've got a more intense addiction. Maybe you've got a food addiction. What are you bringing in? A smoothie every day with organic, fresh, frozen, beautiful fruits and vegetables. Or maybe a new way of eating, a new way of thinking, a new belief system, an affirmation, whatever it is. I want you to visualize a symbol in your mind's eye. This can be a shape. This could be a triangle. This could be a fairy. This could be an angel. This could be a crystal. It doesn't matter. It could be anything. I want you to picture a symbol in your mind's eye in this moment right now. And remember what that is. Going back to the current neural net, the current trillion neurons that you're about to release, and your new color of the new chosen belief or pattern or habit in your life is just ready and waiting. And as I count down from 3 to 2 to 1 in just a moment, you're going to release this pattern. And then as I count up from 1 to 2 to 3, you're going to bring in those new neurons in that new color to attach to all of those old neural connections, okay? So here we go. Looking at the old neural net, watching it release. 3, loosening up. 2, and as those neurons forever release that grip on each other. 1, bringing in the new neural connections, the new chosen belief, bringing back that symbol into the front of your mind's eye as we bring in the new neural connections to attach to the old. 1, getting closer together. 2, getting a strong grip. And 3, the entire neural net inside your brain turns to that new color instantaneously in this moment now. Your whole entire brain becomes that new beautiful color, that new chosen habit or thought pattern. And ingraining that fully into the matrix of your body as you recognize that chosen symbol. Bring that to your mind now. Bring that into your center of your headspace and expand it, expand it, expand it. Coming back to that torus of energy that you have running, looking at your donut, expanding this symbol as large as that, as large as the room, as large as your home, your city, your state. Looking down from the heavens, from out in the universe, looking at yourself and that symbol, fully embodying the size of the state in which you live and making it even bigger and bigger and bigger. And as we come back home to reconvene in this incredible physical body, recognizing how absolutely incredible it is that we live in this time, in this space, that we are in human body right now, that we have these incredible tools to completely change our lives. Sitting with gratitude for all of this potent information and the ability to literally reprogram your own brain. This is changing your environment, changing everything around you into the state that you choose, the life experience that you choose. Congratulations for taking part in this experience. And when you're ready, wiggling your toes and bringing yourself back to this space with me now. I'm so grateful that you took part in this process with me. This is harnessing epigenetics at its finest. I will allow you to go forth and sit in this energy, shining gratitude on yourself for taking part in this most incredible process. And in the next video, we are going to dive deep, deeper than we just did, into reprogramming the subconscious.
So anybody can share anything you want to share about either one of those meditations and experiences. And like I said, just be open to the possibility that you reprogrammed your brain and that you will see an outward display of that change in your life, and give it some time and see what happens. So anybody's welcome to share anything they want to about that.
I'm happy to go first. Yeah, that was interesting, and I liked it very much. That the whole second video was powerful to me. What I was looking at is the old limiting belief, which I envisioned like a chain link fence in my head. Just you stay in your place, you stay in your realm. This is what you know. This is where you belong. You can do things within your realm. And before we started this, I kind of defined my realm as my kingdom. That my new belief is, okay, yeah, I still can stay in my realm, but my realm is any choose a kingdom and gold, but it was moving. So it's all flexible, and it can encompass anything that I choose. That no one can tell me, no, that's not in your realm. If I see something, I'm like, you know what, I want that to be in my realm. Well, then it is in my realm. So I just envisioned this giant kingdom that belonged to me. So
Nice. And then, yeah, because the reason I asked you if it was a limiting belief you were trying to get rid of is this idea of what came to you, that the belief in and of itself isn't limiting. It's how you apply it in terms of a realm, and that if if you're open, if you open it up like you just did, then it could be a supportive belief, because then you could believe that anything that is in your realm as you define it is yours, and you have capacity, you have the right, you have ability. And so that's wonderful, because I definitely as a limiting belief, or as a way to stay away from things that might be fearful, it's not serving you. But if it's a way to open doors for you, and create a bigger and bigger realm, and to know that you are only limited by what you believe you're limited by.
right, yeah, and then I'm specifically applying it. I mean, that's broad, so I can apply it however I want to, but the area of focus right now is still creating my portal, and getting beyond, this is not what you know, so this is not what you do,
Right.
and continuing to expand that kingdom. That yeah, I may not know it, but you know what, I'm claiming this as part of my kingdom, so that's where I'm going to go.
Yes, absolutely. And as I talked to you about in the when we met, the things that you don't know about it they're not difficult. It's just information you don't currently have. And so, but they're very manageable, like everything around portals and all of that. It's kind of like math. It's, once there is an answer. There are a lot of things in life where there isn't a factual answer, and those things are more challenging, at least for me, because you can kind of wander around in them forever. But with this kind of stuff, it's finite, and there is an answer, and a lot of people have it. So it's easy to get the answer to the things about that are challenging. You can get the answer, and it's just putting things together. It's not not difficult. Yeah, that's great. And I think again, if anybody, this will be in the our group. So if there are other things like kind of companion wise with that belief for you, maybe something in the financial realm where you want to go in and do it again, as Amber was saying, like with a specific dollar amount that like you, if you see yourself as being limited financially, going back in and reprogramming that piece as well, because that would be that complementary to the belief that you worked on today.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's great. I'm glad that you found value in that. And I would lean into that and just kind of assume that belief has taken root in your brain and go forth with that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. Anybody else want to?
I'll go. When I prepped for tonight, what I came up with as my limiting belief was Alzheimer's is genetic. And I actually did a little bit of research on the internet before we arrived here to find out sort of, well, how genetic is it and what's going on with it? And, so I actually found a little bit of research that made me a little bit hopeful in terms of the type of Alzheimer's that my mother had, which was early onset. And it basically said I should be experiencing things by now, if that's actually the case. There's only a 50% chance that you will get it. So, spin of the wheel. And they've also found a new gene mutation that can actually make you immune from it, and that or can delay it, and they're looking at that for research for new drugs and things like that. So I'd already freed my mind a little bit in terms of, this is going to happen to me because everybody in my family's got it and blah blah. So that was super helpful. The first meditation, I almost fell asleep. I think I was being hypnotized by that moving thing. It looked like lips or something. I was like, oh, this is great. But I think it did help with focus a lot. And then the second one, yeah, it was, I've done a lot of running of energy in my time. So, doing a grounding cord and doing that sort of thing came quite natural to me. The expanding up and out of my body was not. So I found that a little bit more difficult. But I definitely felt when you did when you counted down the 1, 2, 3, and then counted back up in the 1, 2, 3, then it was a lot easier for me to go out with my symbol, as opposed to before we did that, which where we were doing the donut and I couldn't quite visualize that one. And so my symbol was a lotus flower. My replacement sort of affirmation was, as soon as she started talking, saying what epigenetics was, I started laughing because I was like, this is exactly, what I'm doing here. And so it was easy to sort of replace that belief with, I'm in control here of what's going on, and I'm healthy and balanced and in connection with my environment as the lotus flower is. So that was my
And
experience.
did you go so far as to implant the belief that you're not going to get it or it's not genetic?
I did not get that far. And I think that I definitely want to do it again to have that much more fixed affirmation in it. Because I almost changed when we were talking at the beginning, and I was sort of, okay, maybe I should just go with a habit because this is kind of, airy fairy, until I saw the introduction. And then I went, no, this is absolutely perfect. So I hadn't actually prepared that. I am not
replacement belief.
Yeah.
So I would do it again, because I would just go all the way there of I'm not getting Alzheimer's.
Mm-hmm. Ain't happening.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I thought that was really a very good exercise. And yeah, I can see all sorts of applications for it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
And
looking forward.
it's in, like I
Yeah.
said, it'll be in the group, and so in the Facebook group, so you can access it and go through it. You can just skip to that part. Although I do think that the focus helps. I think doing the first one, doing them together is beneficial to really
Mhm.
get yourself where you're really, really narrowly focused before you start.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great. And again, that yours will take longer to see, whether or not that comes to pass. But I think it's worth doing anyway, really, specifically putting that very firm belief, that's not happening in your brain, it's not happening to you, is
Mhm.
worthwhile.
It's the certainty you were talking about
Yeah.
last time, right?
Yeah.
And just,
Yeah.
living with that
Yeah.
certainty, even if it's a bit of an oxymoron, it I can make it happen,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
yeah.
I
So
think so. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Anybody else ready?
I found the neural network, and it went too fast. And I had a lot going. I mean, I was the visualizing of the network, and then I was delicately pulling out that one thread, and then it was like, and so I and it was interesting. So the image for my new belief was a morning glory, and because they bloom in the morning. And I have this ceramic clock in my other room that has morning glories on it, but I only kind of know what they look like. And they're kind of blue and cream. And so, it was like I had that image more than I had my replacement belief. So it would probably be good for me to do it again because the words weren't coming as much as I was so focused on that image. And like, it was like 1, 2, 3 and 2, 3, it was just like, wait, I haven't finished pulling out this thread yet. And then I'm trying to attach a new thread in there. And my morning glory did grow though, and got big. And
Well, what
so,
you may want to do, Joy, you may want to go through and stop and start and actually write it out and then record it yourself at a pace that works for you.
mm,
And do because I think that going through that step of, separating and then putting in the new one and having the neural net change color and all that is really important. And so if your process for that is slower, it may be valuable to either one of two things, either go through it again, listen to it, and then do it yourself without the video and just walk yourself through that process within your own mind. Or if it's good to have that guide, it's because that part is not very long. You could record that and then, go through with her to a certain point and then stop and start yours, a little bit ahead of that. And then,
mm,
and give yourself pauses and longer time frames. Because I think that part is really important to do.
yeah, like I said, it all kind of got rushed, and choosing the color, and it was just, I mean, it happened, but the words didn't happen. I think the words are really important too. And I also think there's, surprise, surprise, there's a little resistance going. But yes.
So I would try again, and then if you still feel like it's too fast, then I would just like stop and start, write it down and
Yeah, that
record
makes
it.
sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And then I would love to, let's see how this, impacts the path that you're already on.
Right.
Woohoo. All right. Thank you. Leah, you ready to share?
Yeah, like actually I resonate quite well a lot with Joy. Um Yeah, well, and I resonate with Joanna on the first one where it was quite mesmerizing. The lips, or yeah, the flower thingy. Um, but yeah, the last one, it did seem a little quick, and like there was a bit of disconnect, or like kind of like the resistance. Um, in terms of like we're talking about changing like epigenetics, which is a pretty significant process, and it was like, yeah, wrapped up like so quick. I'm like typically epigenetics takes like in naturally it takes like yeah, it takes a long time like for the environment to like interact with genes. So yeah, there was a bit of skepticism.
Okay.
Um, but
And that, did that come up for you during the meditation or
like it
more
was more
after?
a general like like just it came up more like it wasn't a concrete thought initially. It was just like this like I was having trouble buying in
Okay.
to the um and I well yeah, and like I don't know if visualizing is a challenge for me. Like sometimes, like, yeah, like kind of like how Joy was saying, like to visualize all this stuff
Mhm.
like so quickly, like my brain wasn't, there was a lot of like shifting of visuals that I was essentially coming up with in the moment.
Right.
Um, but like some of it was like like the visual was helpful, like just watching the old belief, like the old network,
Mhm.
like kind of like just collapse. And then I didn't realize I was supposed to have my eyes open for that one part
Mhm.
when I think she showed what the network was supposed to, like a visual.
Yeah, it was just your hands. There was another video that I saw of theirs that had a neural network. Like you can look it up. You can look
Yeah.
up online and see what it actually looks like. And there was a video that I saw that had it. So I had that in my head, the way the neural network looked like. But what she was showing was more like the way that they're fused together, in with her hands. It wasn't a,
Oh, yeah, like all of a sudden, like I was like, oh crap, I think I was supposed to see something. I didn't know what I had missed.
yeah,
But I kind of had my own vision of a network,
yeah,
and then yeah, like implementing, because I kind of visualized like all the like when I released the old one,
mhm,
then like not I kind of visualized like nothing being support, like it was just like collapsed
mhm.
because there was nothing holding it together. And then and then um like yeah, put the net back in place to support everything with the new belief.
Yeah. Were you able to see that part?
Yeah, yeah, like I could visualize it.
Mhm,
Like I just visualize like literally like just like a net, like a network,
mhm.
the color and yeah, and the symbol. Yeah, if I believe that's actually changing my, like I guess like you'd probably have to do it like multiple times.
I don't know. I have done it twice, and both the things that I did it on changed
Really?
and have been changed for like one is like 6 months and one is like 4 months. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why I brought it to you guys, because I was, I don't buy into things unless I see results.
Result.
Yeah. So I'm like, shit, I don't know, but hey, I'll share it with these ladies because
Okay. Well, no, and I can definitely be a skeptic.
yeah.
So,
Well, and
um,
it's kind of with the quantum healing too, with the theta brainwave stuff, all that stuff is easier than you think because and this is epigenetic meditation, not epigenetics. So that's the other piece of it too,
I
is that it's the meditation, not the not like the whole area of study. And so and like with the theta brainwave, because I've been doing more research on that because I'm gonna do a quantum healing certification. And it's it's pretty like it's pretty well road tested, the different brain waves, because there's the beta and the theta, and then what's the one, there's a D one when you're asleep, can't remember.
well, there's alpha,
Yeah,
alpha state.
Is it Delta?
delta, yeah, when you're asleep it's delta. And so the theta brainwave, so when you get into the different brainwaves,
Yeah.
different things are accessed.
I listened to some, yeah, like there's different frequencies.
Yeah.
Like I think I listened to this one, the sound, and it's like theta, because it's a certain like frequency of sound, I think.
Yeah, I listen to a delta one when I go to sleep. That's supposed to be reprogramming shit too. So
Oh, it's delta.
yeah, delta
Oh,
for when you're asleep.
yeah,
But yeah. Oh,
what's
sorry,
the
go
one
ahead.
that I'm listening? I have one on here. What was it? That was the, oh, actually, I don't know. Frequency. Oh, I thought it said it doesn't. Yeah, you can dig it. It's different hertz.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And what was the belief or the pattern or the habit that you were working on?
Well, that I can't, I can't manage my time and like boundaries slash like body.
Okay.
Boundaries are for me like synonymous with body.
So that's two things, your time and your boundaries slash body. Even if we count boundaries and body as one, it's still two things. Did you feel like
Yeah, like they're connect, like yeah, they are different, but they're connected in for me.
okay? And did
Because
you have a belief that you put in place?
um well, so yeah, I put that I was that I what did I put? Like I kind of shifted it at one point because when she was I put I am in control of my time and body
Mm-hmm.
and can make good choices or wise choices
Okay.
like for myself. I did kind of like, and I know you've kind of modified it in this way before, but when she was talking, it came back to me about like more of like I have like about the abundance that like that time isn't
Mm-hmm.
like because I see it as like I'm like I see time like where I'm already in a deficit, like kind of like how money, if you see like you never have enough,
Yeah.
then you live in this like deficit mode,
Yep.
right? Where it's like you're like almost already like starting off with a negative
Mhm.
mindset.
Yeah.
And so it's more like I have more like more than enough time that I need in, or like I have all the time I need.
Yeah.
um
Did you put that one in?
no, I didn't. I'll
Well,
put,
and
well,
it's also separate from the body. You might want to consider trying it again and getting really specific. on
separating
one-
them.
Yeah, and getting really specific on one with time, that I have more than enough time that I need to do everything that I need to do and want to do. There's an abundance of time, more than enough for me to accomplish everything I need to do and everything I want to do. And you don't know how those kind of things, it's not a straight line, because for me, I've been working on abundance in general, and time abundance is definitely one of them, and this injury that keeps giving. So now my kids start school tomorrow, and I was driving them to school, and it was pretty much like an hour in the morning, an hour in the afternoon. Now they're going to be taking a bus to school, and I don't have to drive them. And here I don't have to clean the house or do the laundry anymore, because the help for that is so inexpensive. And all these things are delivered here. I don't have a car here, and I'm not intending to get one. And the vegetables are delivered, meat is delivered, dairy is delivered.
Wow.
There's a community basket. So I have this new, in all these different ways, abundance of time. And it's not like I didn't get any more time, but things shifted, and I've been working on this whole idea of abundance, and it's been, the other thing is, like, people will do something once and then be like, and I'm not saying anything about this meditation in particular, but the idea of, like, when you're looking at it to see that it's not working, it's not going to work. You understand? But when you're looking at see how it is working, how it will work, and that certainty, going back to the certainty piece, that I'm certain that abundance is everywhere and I'm open to it. And now, I'm seeing a lot of different ways, nature abundance, like a lot of forms of abundance that I've wanted, all coming together in this decision to stay here, which was like when we were landing, I felt like coming home to me, and I was very aware of that sensation that I was home. And then as things unfold, it's like you want to replace the beliefs and invest in the certainty that you will have what you desire. And then you have to, like, be aware of the ways that the universe is trying to give it to you. If I would have experienced my injury as this great tragedy that happened to me, and and be focused on the negativity of it, all of the things that unfolded as a result wouldn't have I would have read everything differently, and I would have, it would have gone a totally different way. And so it's, in my mind, it's not a one moment thing, it's a whole bunch of different things where you're investing in your work, like the visualization, for me, it's tapping and meditation, and a lot of different things, and belief and certainty, and listening to books and talks and things that reinforce the belief system that I want to have. So even when I am feeling doubtful, even when I'm feeling frustrated, like there was a period of time when William was struggling in school in February, and I was like, why is this happening? And then it was like, well, I need to sell this house, because if he's not going to this school, this is not the place that I would choose to be. And then it was like, just all these things, one thing after another, that that could have been perceived as negative, right? Or it could have been a series of doors the universe was opening, right? If I was open and I was willing to keep saying, yes, I'm going to sell the house. Yes, I'm going to be open to this change. Yes, I'm going to be open to that change. And, then now things make a lot of sense. And my friend saying to me, hey, will you help me open this school in Costa Rica? It all makes a lot of sense now. So it's like being in, keeping your mindset in a space that is in alignment with what you desire, finding the way to see the things that are happening as your progress, as the universe moving you forward, instead of other ways that you could define them, and being open to the things that can unfold and can happen to change things, and trying to be available to make the critical choices when those moments arise, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. Yeah, staying focused on what I want, where I want my life to go,
And how things are working out, not how they're not working out. What you focus on, you get more of. So if your focus is things never work out for me, then they continue to not work out. If your focus is, I see how things are working out for me, I see how the universe is moving me forward, I see how I'm participating in that, and continuing to flood your mind and your heart and your soul with material that is in alignment with where you want to go, even on days when you don't feel that. I mean, even like I reached out to Amber because I was feeling really frustrated, and I said, I'm feeling really frustrated, and we did some subconscious reprogramming work, and that helped. And then and it was like, I was listening to Happy Pocket Full of Money while I was walking, like kind of on repeat. And one day I was like, this is a bunch of fucking bullshit, and then I talked to her and I went back to it. So it's like, if you have a bump in the road, doubling down, reinvesting, and not letting yourself go, because that's an opportunity, right? The universe is saying, do you really want this, or are you going to be willing to go down this crappy road instead? And I think that it's the reinvesting and not being disingenuous with yourself. If on a day that you're not feeling it, you're not feeling it, but I think it's all the investment in the mindset stuff that helped me to see breaking my ankle and needing surgery as a good thing and not a bad thing, and that did not happen overnight. That took years of really investing in mindset, and again, I'm not in any way saying be inauthentic with yourself. If on any particular day you're not buying it, don't buy it, but try again, and listen and reinvest again in those messages that resonate with you, because it's when you can find that certainty that things are going to work out, and when you can invest in the messages that you're pulling toward yourself, the positivity and the reality that you want to have, you're able to focus on that it is working, that the universe is on your side. That's going to bring more of that to you, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I would try it again, and I would try it again, not as epigenetics, but as epigenetic meditation. I would try it again as, I don't fucking know, but if this shit works, that would be good. And separate the body and the time, and come up with a good statement, replacement belief, or even if there's a specific time habit that you have, trying, because you want to find proof for yourself as quickly as you can, because if you pick a habit and you can see a change, then you can do
Yeah.
a belief.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and I think the thing that I struggle with the most, and like this has been something that it's kind of been, this is since I've been for many years, is like when I become like, okay, that's it, like I'm gonna get better with time, or I'm gonna be more organized. I feel like I have two modes. I'm like a task drill sergeant,
Right.
where I'm like so like like I have to manage like every minute of my, okay, next, right? Like I manage to take all the joy out of life completely. Like I'm literally just like an automaton,
Yeah.
and like so fixated on like doing the stuff that I need and want to do.
Mhm.
And then, or I just go like, fuck it. And then be in the mode that I've been like, where I don't have any stress. It's like, if it gets done, it gets done. If not, like, because I feel like if I've come to believe that my options are task drill sergeant or hot mess.
Yeah.
Like, those are my two like modes. I don't know what that middle looks. I
So
don't even know what the middle feels like.
and that's kind of why I was telling the story of how time abundance has showed up for me, because it's not the way I was expecting, right? There aren't more hours in the day, but there's now a whole bunch of crap I don't have to do anymore, and so you don't want to, you want to be open to other possibilities, right? And open to the fact that time could be less of an issue for you,
Like,
and
I don't need to be so hyper focused on it.
yeah, and how that shows up, we don't know. But maybe there's a habit that you have around time that you could replace that habit with something that's more supportive of you with this meditation, so that you could see a concrete outcome. So then, like,
I
a month later, did that change or did it not change? And if it did change, then go after, because the beliefs, I think, are harder to prove whether it changed or not. But if you can prove
yeah.
yourself that the process works with something more concrete, then and go in and really believe that you can shift a core belief, like time abundance, or that you don't need to be a black and white thinker about time and about how you interact with time. That's going to be harder to prove whether that happened or not. Whereas if you for example, you want to accomplish the things that you need to do in a certain amount of time in the morning, like you have a habit of taking too long to get ready in the morning, and you want to be able to replace that with a habit of succinctly getting ready, within a amount of time, or not rushing, not needing to rush in the morning, or something concrete, and then see if it happens or not.
Yeah.
And then that
Because
gives
I
you
guess
confidence.
yes, that makes the habit is definitely more tangible.
Yeah. I did, one of mine was a habit of drinking alcohol when I got very upset about something. And so it wasn't like a constant habit, but it was tied to like a certain level of either of being upset, like tied to a certain level of being upset. And where like somehow I had it, it was just an automatic, like, oh, I'll have a beer, I'll have a glass of wine, and then that's just a coping mechanism. And I did this one on that, and I haven't had any drink at all since then. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, that's like very tangible.
right?
It's very
And I haven't
clear.
wanted to, and I've gotten upset, in there's been a variety of different times since then, both in Georgia
Mhm.
and here, that I've been upset, and I haven't even, it's not even like I thought, oh, I want to have a drink. I have not even wanted to.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I haven't had any alcohol in the house here at all.
Hmm.
Yeah. So something concrete, it will, because that was when I was like, I think, and it's been now a while. So that's why I brought you guys this meditation, because I was like, and the other one was weight loss, because it was the first time I did it, and she brought it up, and I wasn't even really thinking of it, but I was like, it would just like popped in my head from what she suggested. And
Mhm.
my body is shrinking, and I can't walk. So I mean, I haven't exercised in 8 weeks, and I'm a regular exerciser, and I'm down like 2 sizes.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
So I don't know. Again, I'm not, to me, it's like, see for yourself,
Sure.
and then, make a decision based on your own. So that's for everybody. It can't hurt to go back and pick a habit, either one you want to put in, or I guess it's one you want to replace, because that's the specific process. But pick a habit and try it and see, because that's much more concrete to see if there is a result. Um, and but that's why I brought it, was because that's been my experience with the two times I've done it. Yeah.
Kelly, what was your replacement affirmation for the weight thing? Do you remember what you used?
I'm trying to remember, because it wasn't like, because she said like a smoothie or something. I
Mm,
think it was, because Happy Pocket Full of Money always tells you wait, like don't be vague, like you have to say I am. And so the one that I said from Happy Pocket Full of Money, which is probably the same one, which is not, we'll see if it ever occurs, but it was, I'm 110 pounds. And I think it's because it's what it says actually in the book, but I'm not sure. And I'm not now. I haven't weighed myself, so I don't know how much I weigh. But that would be very surprising to me if that comes to pass. But I think that's what I said. I think that's what I replaced it with.
yeah,
Um,
thanks. I just,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Be a
think
fun one to
because
try.
that's my orientation from Happy Pocket Full of Money, is like I am, because what he says is, don't say I want to lose weight, say I am, and then the weight you want to be, as
Right.
opposed to I'm going to be this weight. That's I am this weight. You want, and want, you also don't say want, desire.
Mm,
Desire, but never want. So
mm,
yeah, so hopefully that idea of you know really filling your life and your brain and your heart and your soul with the messages that you want, that you desire, that are congruent with certainty, with the life that you're driving toward. I think is really important. And even when you don't see it, to keep investing in that, because that, even with all the scientific parts of it, it's like where your thoughts are eh, so much in control, and your subconscious as well are so much in control of what you end up doing. And so and this idea that your exterior world is a manifestation, a creation of what's occurring internally most often in your mind, that you're reinforcing and drawing to yourself what you believe is possible and real for you. And so when you shift that, what you believe is real and possible for you, it shifts. Anybody have any other thoughts or comments or anything you want to share about these exercises? Okay, so we have a little bit of time for check-ins. So everybody wants to take like 5 minutes for a check-in and share what's been going on, because we haven't had any time the last 4 or 5 weeks of exercises. So if anybody wants to start and just kind of fill us in on what's been happening.
I'll start. Are you gonna go, Leah?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Just look. I mean, your your mute was off, and I saw you reaching towards
Oh,
the camera.
Maybe,
Well,
I'll take my mute. I'm gonna put.
It's okay. So, I sent my sister and her husband an email talking about all the things that Dad needed and how I thought that we should consider a memory care facility as opposed to the in-home care. That also in-home care actually was much more expensive when you think about running the household, paying utilities, paying groceries, and all of that. And the three of us had a phone call, and all 3 adults were online. None of our inner children were present having temper tantrums or being triggered. And they were very reasonable and rational. And it was sort of like, just wanted to touch base. And I think getting some more information about, she asked if I'd gone to any of these facilities, and I was like, no, I didn't want to go any further. I already was feeling she's going to feel like I've made this decision without consulting her. So, I didn't say that out loud to her, but that was internal, sort of like, I didn't want to go any further. And again, this is not the wording I use with her, but with you guys, you know what I mean, and unless she was at least halfway on board, because in the past, she was very much like, I would never consider one of those places for Dad. And he'd have to say that's where he wants to go, as opposed to coming to live with me. I mean, she was adamant. So I really was feeling the waters, and I've learned, just the facts, I kept the emotion, I kept the distress that I'm feeling, the overwhelm of taking care of Dad. I kept all that out. It was just, these are the facts. This is what he needs. It's a tremendous amount of care, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so, she said, I think checking these things out. And she was saying to me, I had mentioned talking to a financial advisor. So she was like, I think that's a good idea. So that was, so this was a week and a half ago. We talked on a Monday evening, and on, I guess sometime on Wednesday, I had this, I was kind of sort of getting over all this, it's like I was prepared. As much as I tried to resource and be like centered when I knew we scheduled that phone call for Monday night. But around Wednesday after the phone call, I was like, okay, well, I've gotten the go ahead, and nothing's going to happen unless I start making phone calls. Or so anyway, long story short, the woman I originally called to learn about memory care facilities there's an agency called A Place for Mom, and they actually act sort of like a clearinghouse and resource. So I called my contact there. She had, given me the names of 5 places, so I could, check them out online, and I could send that to my sister. And I called the woman whose name is Heather, and I was like, I'm ready to go on some tours. Should I call these places? Some of them were already calling me, you know, because how it's all connected. And she was like, well, you can just give me your availability and I can set up the tours for you. I was like, okay, lovely. So she was able to reach. So one of them only has semi-private rooms. And at this point, I was thinking to just have a private room for dad. So I kind of had marked that one on off the list, although I'm thinking I might go check it out. So originally though, marking that one off, there were 4 and one has not responded, which I think is an interesting red flag. But I've just finished my 3rd tour this afternoon. Have not set up the appointment yet with the financial advisor. It's been, you know, juggling with taking so many afternoons off work, and one afternoon was a doctor's appointment for dad, and you know, but my boss is, she knows, you know, I need to do this, and she's like, do what you need to do. So, and it's all, and it's still, you know, people are, I'm asking and being handed information in, you know, in a brochure, not a brochure, but a folder when I leave, or one of the women at one of the sites, she sent me things via email. And so I haven't really dug into all that. And I've had different feelings about the different 3 places. And as my sister said, when we talked, she's like, no one place is going to be perfect, but, you know, kind of like check it out. And so there are pros and cons, and just, you know, looking at the material and gathering those thoughts. And I also, interestingly enough, haven't been able to reach Heather the past couple of days. I don't know if she's on vacation or what, but I wanted to see if there were any other options, because the one facility that I went to yesterday, they had living assisted and memory care. And they were really more like he would be in living assisted, unless he becomes like, you know, a problem with running, or elopement, they call it for seniors. I call it running. I work with teenagers, I worked with kids before. He said he was a runner, you know, but and I really did not like their memory care, because by the point those people get to memory care, they were falling asleep during their activity kind of thing. And they didn't have any decorations out because they tend to pick them up and carry them off. You know, she was like, it's not decorated because they wouldn't be here anyway, you know, and they don't remember that so I really didn't like, you know, but there were other parts of that facility that I did like. I liked the feeling of the woman who gave me a tour. I saw more of the staff. The rooms had a little space where you could provide a refrigerator and microwave, and the rooms were they've just been remodeled with new floors and paint. You know, so the memory care, the one I went to today, I wasn't going to go into all these details, but apparently I need to for just a minute. I want other people to have a chance too. I liked the setup of the memory care today. It was, again, they had assisted living and memory care, but at this place they were more, it sounds like he's more kind of like on the bubble, and they didn't seem to have as many eyes watching, you know, like if he was to go out, as the other place. So they were really kind of leaning like towards the memory care. And I liked the setup, but again, the people that I saw seemed less, they were a little, what am I trying to say? They weren't very with it. And, you know, it was dinner time. They were gathering for dinner, and some of them just looked kind of vacant. And, you know, and then there was one man, he was very nice, you know, and he saw we went in his room, and he was like, I just wanted to make sure if you needed anything, and if you need a room, you can use my room. And he was like, so, but most of them didn't give me that impression. So, I mean, again, I'm just kind of sharing a couple of first impressions with you all, and I have to sit and read my material, look more online, so what I was saying is I wanted to ask Heather if maybe there are places that are just assisted living. Is that what I'm trying to say? Assisted living. That's what I'm trying to say. That would be able to deal with his level of dementia and confusion. There'd be enough eyes, you know, like at the one place, because it seemed like if if we chose that one place that I liked everything but the memory care part, if he got to a stage where he needed memory care, we'll take him somewhere else. So maybe there's a assisted living. And I have this, and I could be wrong, I have a sense that this shift and change could lead to dad's further decline. I mean, I also have this idea that even though I've verbalized it to him and he said, I was like, you don't need to stay here, meaning stay alive, to take care of me. And he's like, I know that, but he's my dad. And I think deep down inside, I mean, he still is like, be careful when you go out, park where it's well lit, are there lots of people around where you go for your walks in the, I mean, it's still, I'm just wondering if he doesn't see me every day, if there will be a separation of feeling like maybe he does need to stay here and take care of me. Or also like the transition of leaving his home, he might decline more rapidly. It's just like when we talked about him living at my sister's, we said he might decline more rapidly, and knowing that. So again, none of us know how long he will be here or what's keeping him here. Although I did have I'll share this and then I'll let other people share. I had a few weeks ago where we just had an interaction that just pushed me over the edge. And I came to my room and I cried and I screamed and I said, why is he still here? And I immediately got an answer that he was here because I had to do my work. I mean, it wasn't quite those words, but it was like this sense of he's here because I need to do this work of separating from my family. And it was just so clear. So part of me is like, if I do that separation, how much longer will he be here? Is that the only reason he's still here? God only knows, literally. So anyway.
And I very much appreciate that where he goes and what which facility is paramount in your mind. But I just want to point out like the massive shift from God only knows when to I visited 3 places, right? So like how far down the road of this becoming a reality that you are not his caretaker anymore, you have gotten. And that part, I know all those details are super important. And I had a lot of thoughts about them. I was like, no, that's not what's important. Important is that you have done so much internal work and you are now in the external work and you are, and obviously they're both simultaneous at this point, but you're in the home stretch. However long that takes, you're in the home stretch. And that's all a function of all of the work that you have been doing, primarily around separating from your family and around, being able to really stand in your truth and be immovable and head in that direction. And so I think that that's, to me, what is so significant about what you're reporting right now, is that, and even the last time we talked, you had been to 1. So the fact that, you are, making this happen. And it's huge.
Yes. I mean, and also just to get to this idea of realizing memory care would be the best for him, because I wasn't as adamant as Leanne was about it, but I was, we want him to be in home. We want him to die at home. That's mom was able to stay at home and die at home. And he also, just to catch everybody else up, he is becoming more confused here, not even knowing that he is at his home, more often. But yeah, I mean, my certainty, my strength absolutely has grown. And it's good to hear you say I'm in the home stretch, because there is some, and I don't want to spend everybody's time. I know it's all for all of us. I hit that. I see you, Joanne. Thank you. um, it in some ways it feels like the goalpost keeps getting moved. You know, it's like, oh, okay, now I got to do all this checking out and get this information, and then what will that mean about this house? And
think about the abundant life that you're looking for.
right.
Because these same challenges are going to occur with a career that fulfills you, with a relationship that fulfills you, with, and so you're building these muscles, right?
Mhm.
You're learning how to endure the challenge of internal and external work simultaneously that is challenging in a variety of different ways. So if you can think about this as all good, like this is a foundation, because the next time you do it, it's going to be a little bit easier. It's going to be a little bit faster because you're doing all this work now. And again, the next time after that. And so, these are not accidents. And this is all preparation. And so in many ways, right? And so, and how to believe through the entire process that it's going to occur, right? Because the goalpost is getting moved, but you also know it's going to happen, right? You got to that place of certainty. You're going to need that like sense memory of that certainty in these other areas. So when you think about it, it's all good. It's all good. There's nothing bad happening. It's all good and it's all usable, right?
Mm-hmm. I do have to share with you my analogy. I've never been a fan of soup and stews. I'm not a food person. I like to eat and be done with it, and have concrete amounts of food on my plate, and I know when I'm done that I've eaten enough. And soups and stews, they seem to go on. They expand. It's like, when are they ever going to get finished? I feel like I'm eating soup and stew, and like, is it ever going to be to the bottom of the bowl? I'll be done, and I'll know that I'm done. But I will try to reframe, and not try. I will reframe, and I have seen most of it as good. I'm getting a little ready. I'm ready to be done. But like you said before, if I was, I'd not be here. Okay.
Yes. And this process, if there's the idea of being in love with the process of growth and change and progress, because we're I would say, of all of us, that's when we get to a plateau, we're going to move the line. And so if you can be in love with this process, no matter what the topic is, it's not like it's not coming some other time. You are in it, and you are crushing it, and that's like, the topics will change, but if you can see that you're in it, and that you love this process of growth, internal and external growth, and seeing the results of all of your hard work, then it's not later, it's now, because that's where you are.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sure. Okay, who else wants to share?
I can go because I'll be relatively quick. I've been having 2 weeks of complete and utter laziness in the last 2 weeks. Yay! And just enjoying summer and recuperating from the trip, and integrating and all that stuff that I was talking about. It definitely took a little longer than I thought it was going to, but that's okay. Good things take time, right? So I have, I've just been thinking a lot about, sort of where do I want to be, what's my future looking like, and trying to set up some visions around that. I am setting myself up for going back to school with the intention that everything's going to get done. I have strategies and tools to cope with it, and most things are going to get done within the school day, and that's how it's going to be. So, and I'm pretty certain that I can do that because I did it at the end. I mean, I did take some home, but not very much. So that's kind of my big intention for next week. And for the rest of the week, I'm mostly just socializing and doing chores and things to get ready to go back. So yeah, I'm sort of looking at this year as a turning point in terms of sort of moving out of the confusion of the past and all the stuff that we worked on together, having let that go, becoming a different person. How do I amplify that? What's the next, as you say, right? Where am I moving the line to? So I think that sort of growing that belief, growing that certainty is a huge priority. And yeah, working on continuing to grow in the areas I've already grown. I don't have everything perfectly worked out yet, but it's overall, how am I going to get to the life that I want or get closer to, because I've already gotten closer to. Yeah, so I'm actually looking forward to using this epigenetics exercise on a few things. And yeah.
And I think that idea that, like, it never works out how you think, and
Mhm.
it's always, it's always changing, and about that growth. And I think that being open to that, and thinking less about what you have to do,
Mm,
and being more open to you know um how things can be effortless, you
yeah,
know and
yeah.
not be about what you have to do, that's going to be work or challenge, but
Mhm.
how can things flow easily to you without you having to do anything.
Yeah, and recognizing the universe knocking at the door, like you said,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The stuff that
And
was
that doesn't
happening
mean
to
you
you.
don't want to do anything, because, like, I know as a personality, I like to do things. So I don't ever see myself not working. Like, I don't see that. Like, it's not something that interests me. Um,
Mhm.
but the idea that I have to, you know, like that I could just not have to, and that's something that I've been working on, in this year too, is passive income streams, so that I don't ever see myself as somebody that won't work, because I love to work, but that I don't have to, and that's it's a choice that I make because I love it and not because I need to do it. It's a totally different mindset than
Yeah,
I have to do this.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. I'm doing it because it brings me joy.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Lori, Leah, you ready to share?
I can just real quick, not too much. School has started. Aurelia and Jordan are both seniors. They are in different schools, but very close to each other. Jordan has not missed any school yet. Aurelia has missed 3 days in 3 weeks. So, it's still going to be a struggle, but she's doing it. Jason is officially unemployed. And what I'm doing differently this time is because I knew I cannot keep doing things the same. So I told it I had to think through it and came to the realization that yes, this is his home, but during the day it is a business. It is not a home. It is not my home. It is not his home. It is not Aurelia's home. It is a business. So when I am open, he needs to be out of the house. If he was running a business and due to confidentiality, he would, I needed to be out of the house to not be around his clients. Well, I would absolutely respect that. So I'm asking him to do the same. I also had to, think through, okay, if he chooses not to, what's my repercussion on that? And I'm thinking through that, okay, that's a must right now. He cannot be around the kids all of the time. And so if it comes down to, okay, we need to be separated right now, that's not my intention, but I have to be able to focus on my business. So if I have to go to a lawyer and say, okay, we are going to separate which one of us gets the house, it's absolutely going to be me because my business is out of there. I mean, and our daughter lives there, and so I told him a while back. I told him that, and he was like, "Oh, I mean, he had just never thought through, and I hadn't either. I just saw it as, well, this is his house. I can't kick him out of his own house, but you know what? During business hours, yes, I can." And so he's done a really good job so far this week in implementing that. He's still around probably a third of the time, but he's respecting that boundary. And so, things might get rocky down the line, but that's what I need to do. So I'll just address what I need to as it comes. But to me, that's a big thing that I am doing differently this time that will make a big impact in my day and my business. So that's my update.
Lori, that's huge. That's massive. Like the shift in your boundaries, since the last time this happened is massive. And I think it is a wonderful thing for your business, but I think it's a wonderful thing for you too, to be able to stand in that power of knowing you are the person who earns the income. The house is the mechanism by which you do that, and that you have that power and control to say, I'm the person taking care of the family, and this is what I need, and being able to put that first for your students, I mean your children, but also for you. I mean, I think it's huge. I think it's huge.
Yeah, I agree.
Awesome. That's awesome. And I just want to point out too, that's a lot less school that Aurelia's missed than last year this time.
Really? In the first 3 weeks, did she miss more than 3 days?
Oh yeah. I think she went 3 days in the first 3 weeks. Last year. A lot less.
That may be true.
Yeah.
That may be.
Yes. It's a lot less. So yay.
Good.
Yeah. Leah, you ready to share?
Yeah, no, I don't really I don't really know, have anything nothing that I really have, nothing's new, not too much. So yeah, I still kind of, I just feel typically, kind of like I gravitate towards this too, and my own personal Nazi and then just very scattered.
How are you doing with listening to the podcasts and the spiritual?
Yeah, so this week is, I think part of it is work. Work has been nuts. And so I feel very strung out, more strung out than I yeah, I feel I've been feeling quite overwhelmed. And so like this week, I did start listening to them today in the car, but I think because I'm like just like I'm trying so hard. I want to manage my time and like be effective. And sometimes I feel like the more I try to be effective, the worse it gets.
But is there something else you could be doing in the car other than listening to the podcasts?
Well, I like listening to my podcast. I actually have come to really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like last week, I think I did it almost every day.
But is there something about the busier, crazier work that makes it different in the car?
Yeah, well, because I feel stressed, like I'm keyed up, like
But I think you need it more,
I just feel like
not less.
I'm so like, I'm in my head, I'm like, okay, Leah, you're going here and you're gonna do this, and then you're going here, and like I'm prepping. I spend all my like time like prepping myself to like rise to the next kind of like situation. And so yeah, no, you're
Does
probably
that
right.
help though? Does that help you? Because I almost feel like something, more, taking you out of the stress and something, bringing in, especially if it's
That's
bringing in positive, different mindset, that it
I
could be valuable.
that's fair. No, I think like I just like when I just made this connection. When I'm stressed, everything feels sped up.
But
And
if you
so
invest in that,
yeah, so
make it
then
more.
like my time, like all my time, like the drive, like I drive, like it feels like it's not like it's everything's like on. So I think I feel like I have less time when I'm stressed because I'm speeding. So that's why I haven't been listening to them, because I feel like I don't have enough chunk of time to like list to actually, because if I'm only doing like a 5-minute drive to
Yeah.
get started on something.
I would still do it. And even
Okay.
like like with Happy Pocket Full of Money, if I don't have a lot of time, I like to go back to things that I already have heard, but that I liked, and then it's not like I don't feel like I have to hear the whole thing, but I can listen to something that's reassuring, or reinforces something. Because I think that if you're stressed, staying in your head and spinning around all the things that you have to do will increase your stress.
It
Not
does.
yeah. And if you take just a minute and even if you do, it's box breathing. So it's
Yeah.
in for a count of 4, hold for a count of 4, out for a count of 4, hold for a count of 4, and then you repeat it. If you do that even for 1 minute, you can change your state, and then put on, like get in the car, do some quick breathing, then don't even ask yourself, should I do it or should I not do it? You should just do it. Because I think that and also feeling like more stressed this week, maybe because you've been listening less, and that just like giving that time in the car to not racing thoughts around in your head, but to, bringing in information that's soothing, even if it's that you've listened to before,
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I think like I've been like I have been noticing, like and I think they're always there, but like this week it was a lot more magnified. Like I'm haunted like daily by just those like just feeling so inadequate and like just I don't know, like kind of I'm in like there yeah, it's very like strong feelings of inadequacy that kind of like I get like it's very obsessive, like almost.
Were you there for the meeting that Amber did or not?
Mm-mm.
Did you, have you listened, have you done that, the body testing on the subconscious?
No, that was something that I was
Yeah.
supposed to do.
Yeah, I would do that because there's some of that stuff in there. Because we came up with the list of beliefs together. I think it
Mm.
might have been there the day we were brainstorming the beliefs. I would, I'll send you the link again
Yeah.
in Messenger. It's not that long. It's not the whole meeting that
Mhm.
is. I would
Yeah.
try to do that. I think that's a what, clearing that subconscious belief that you're inadequate would be really important, I think.
Yeah, and that's why I did the time thing and the boundaries. Like that is a huge, that's why that is a huge source of all that.
Mhm.
Because I'm just running, like I know I'm not as effective as I could be with the way I'm managing all my shit.
That's
Uh,
a perspective, right? I would argue that you should try to come up with 5 other perspectives on that, because somebody else could look at what you're doing and say, wow, how does she do all that? How does she take care of her kids and her house and her job? And so it's a perspective that you have
mhm.
that isn't rooting for you, right? And so what would be a perspective where you're doing a great job, you know? And that's something, when I have thoughts like that, my process is to take out a piece of paper and write 5 other ways to see the same situation. How would 5 different people see that? Somebody who would see it better, somebody who would see it worse, somebody who would see it, from this angle or that angle. And I stay with the paper until I can come up with 5 different ways to see the same thing that I think, oh, this is how it is. And then I force myself to come up with at least 5 other ways that it can be seen, because the thing that it does is it helps you see that
Mm.
you're making a choice. You're making a choice in how you are evaluating the set of facts that are in front of you, and that somebody else could look at them completely differently,
Mhm.
and that you could too.
Yeah. Yeah, and I get, like, I don't know, I did a few things happen this week where I I get almost where I'm so caught up in like trying to do something, like do something right, or like it, and then I say, like, I often will like just talk, like just like talk, and then I feel like I say too much sometimes, and like I have like a bad like foot in my mouth syndrome. And yeah, like the work culture at work is just like I want, it's not, I've been now there for 4 years and it's done more harm than good, but like um like it's a very, like we are like intentionally inappropriate
Mhm.
for because that's how we, like, it's just a very dark sense of humor.
Bye, Lori.
Bye, Lori.
Goodbye. Have a good night, guys.
Thank you. You too.
Right.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, I think everyone probably wants to go. I don't know what time it is.
Yeah, we're a little over,
It's
but
okay,
Um,
Lane.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
fine.
no, it's a very, like, we get our kicks out of being like inappropriate and like saying things that would like, that's just like it's just the whole kind of like culture in our department is dark and inappropriate. And it's like, it is a bit of a, like a bit like a way to like release. But like I found over time, like just my impulsivity on like the stupid shit that'll come out of my mouth is just dumb. And I find like it's just I don't have that, I don't have like the same disciplined, like you know, it's okay to like sometimes talk off the cuff, but like it's constantly like just this undisciplined, uncareless like talk. And I don't feel like it's so yeah, like I said something like, and it's such a fine line because like we're all inappropriate, but then all of us, you know, we talk off cuff and then someone all of a sudden now well, I don't, yeah, I'm assuming that they are offended, like, yeah. And I like, and that's not even really like, yeah. So I'm kind of like, I think that like the work over the, like that work culture has started to really it's wearing on me. Cause I feed into it. Like I do get like my own thrills out of it, but I know like I end up just talking and like just, I don't know when, like, and when I get into that mode, I don't know how to shut up. I don't shut up, right? Like it's just like this like rabbit hole for me, and then I don't. Yeah.
I think a toxic work culture, even if it feels like a coping mechanism, it can be really damaging. And you mentioned to me that you took a Facebook break. I think that it's kind of the same thing. Like if you can try to recede from it and be more of an observer and less of a participant and see how you feel, because I was in a toxic work culture for a really long time, and I really didn't appreciate the impact that it was having on me personally until I left it. And then it was really obvious the difference of not having that influence. And so you're not necessarily in a place where you can leave it at this moment, but if you try to take a big step back and really
Yeah.
think about, like, if it were Facebook and you could turn it off and really be able to observe and then see how do you feel not participating and just being more of an observer, because it really does have that sort of insidious way of influencing how you feel outside of work as well.
Yeah. Well, I like, even like over the last couple of years, I'm like, why am I like, I'm so much more like crude and like just like kind of like I feel like almost a heart, like just like a hardening or whatever. Like and so, and I, it's not all work's fault, but like a good portion of it is. And it is like like I love the camaraderie, and so I kind of become like I know this isn't true, but I feel like I have no self-control. So like when yeah, it's just like I walk into my own demise. Like I'm just like I'm going, and I know when I'm going into it, I'm like you're gonna, this is, so I have like I have this thought, the thought that you're saying has come into my head many times, that yeah, just like don't participate, like just I've thought about like working more from home and just
well,
like
and
when
it's also like you can reduce your participation too, like it's not all or nothing. And I think that the the thing is, like, it is a habit. It is a habit. And the idea, when we feel like we don't have control, it's usually there's stuff underneath that. like whenever we feel like our behavior is out of our own control, it's because it's meeting some kind of a need, and I don't know what your social life is like outside
It's
of
like
work.
zero.
Well, that was what I was guessing. And so, you have that, it's like it's taking the place of friendships and a social life outside of work. And so, and that's where, to me, it's like, if you can pull back on that and invest that energy into trying to make some friends. I had suggested to Vicky to use the Bumble, because Bumble has a friendship part,
Yeah.
not just dating. And so she was going to do that, but then there was a local thing that was similar, and she's made a friend on that.
Yay.
And they've gone out to lunch, they've gone to the beach. It turns out they live a few blocks away from each other, because she doesn't live in a very big town. But there are things you can do to increase your social life. Taking classes now that things
Yeah.
are open again.
Yeah. I've been involved with meetup.com no,
Yeah.
I haven't actually attended any, really. I used to run one. I used to run a meetup group.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like I keep trying to, I'm connected to, so I'm hoping, my plan is to meet people through there as well. Like,
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I think, trying to, because if you don't replace it, it's kind of like with the neuronet thing. If you just take away your only social interaction and then you don't replace it with something else, you're gonna slip back into that. But if you make a conscious decision to pull back from that and replace it with something that is more what you want, positive interactions, positive conversations,
Mhm.
to me, that would be the direction that I would think that would be valuable to go in.
Mhm. Yeah, no, and I think that, yeah, I feel like I've kind of like lost some of my identity in like like melding with that work
Yeah.
environment.
Well, and
Because I
taken
also
it
want
on.
Hmm?
You've taken on an identity that isn't necessarily you, in order to fit in and survive in that environment. We do it unconsciously. We adapt to our circumstances, we adapt to the environments that we're in, and without making a choice. And so you can make a conscious choice to pull back and then invest that, know that, well, that's that part of you that's longing for connection with other people. So give yourself that connection with other people, but in another way, in a
Yeah.
way that where you can choose, oh, this person is saying things I want to hear. I'm enjoying this. This is a positive addition. This group is positive. This activity is positive, or it's not. And you can walk away. You can't do the same thing at work. You can't walk away
Mhm.
from your job until you have something else you're headed toward
Mhm.
with a new friendship or a class or something. If it's negative, you can just walk away and it doesn't, there are no consequences. So I would invest your energy in building social networks and relationships and activities outside of work that are going to, where you can choose to continue or not to continue in it, and
Mhm.
emotionally recede. If you can fill yourself up in another way, then you won't need to continue to behave that way in the group environment at work.
Mhm. Yeah.
And it's a
Yeah.
process,
No.
and you might want to reach out for something new before you try to take away something that you have.
Well, yeah, and but I do need, like, even every day I'm like, don't don't go engage in don't start a conversation. But it's like, it's like you get in, like you say, those roles, that identity, and I
And
I follow my program well.
yeah.
And then, yeah, and I even to like after today, I was like, stop, like, I did send a text, like in the context of the work environment. I don't know if it was offensive in those standards, if she, or she was just in a mood. But I did apologize, because I had to do that for my own kind of, that was a way of starting to shift
Yeah.
like that was what I, even in the light of our work environment, like, it wasn't appropriate. And I did apologize. She hasn't replied back, but yeah.
Well, but you've done what you can do. And I
Yes.
would make a conscious choice to not, to not, and if you feel that impulse, to have a plan. What are you going to do instead?
Mhm.
Have something specific. Like, I'm going to go and sign up for a class, or I'm going to go and, schedule a meetup, or, I'm going to reach out to this person, maybe somebody in this group that is, a positive influence. I'm going to send a text to Joy, and, like, have a plan for something you're going to do instead, right? Because if you don't, you won't be able to interrupt the pattern. You have to make a choice to stop and replace it with something else, so that you have that trigger. Oh, I'm going to go have this conversation because I need that social connection. So I'm going to interrupt that trigger, and I'm going to get it from this place over here instead.
Yeah. And I've been that's what I've been kind of like coping with, like, since I decided to get off Facebook, because it became like not healthy, but like, yeah, like I removed a social component, right? And so, like, yeah, like now I'm like, okay, I pulled it, and now, like, yeah. So like now I do need to find a replacement. Like, if I pull social media and then I pull like the work
Right.
environment.
Yeah. So I would put something in place first, like sign up for a class, or try to make a new friend, do something first, so that you're not taking something away without replacing it. Better to add in the new thing that is a social outlet, and then try to pull back. Be more successful.
Yeah. Well, with social media, that's a definite addiction.
Yeah.
So I had to like I kind of just like it was, yeah. And it's just, I have to detox partly from that.
Yeah. But you can also text people in this group on Messenger, and
Yes, I still have Messenger, so
yeah, and be able to chat with other people in your life the same way, just not on Facebook, because you're not really talking to anybody when you're on Facebook.
no, I just stalk people's profiles and go, oh, what is so and so up to, and oh, let me see what yeah. I'm just the creepy stalker on Facebook. But thank you, ladies, for sticking around.
Sure. And let's follow up next time to see what's your plan for your new thing, your new social thing.
Yeah, well, I do like I do have some, like, I do sign up for meetup groups.
Yeah.
And then I don't show up.
Okay, so by next Wednesday, you have to have gone to a meetup. All right.
Yeah. So
All right.
yeah, no, it's just like I'm very, and that was the one thing that I have been doing. Like, so because I realized that, okay, I've got rid of Facebook, so I've been getting more involved in like doing some career, like the LinkedIn.
Good.
Like some like useful social media.
Good.
So, and then I got more so I think unconsciously I knew that I needed to find like alternatives. So I just need to attend the actual meetup groups.
Okay, so next Wednesday, you're going to report what meetups you went to. At least one. Okay. Okay. Anybody else have anything they want to share before we close? All right. So see you next week, and I will edit this tomorrow and put it into the portal, not the portal, into the Facebook group. So, and Leah, I can send you the link for it, and I'll send you the link for that other one with Amber too. And then you guys can use either one or both of these exercises as you want to. Okay. Good night.
Lovely.
Good night.
Bye.
Take care, everybody.
Think,
Bless-
lady.